welcome to Thursday Nighter, round two for the month of December. I am Michael Perry, and I am pleased to be joined by International Master Nubair.
Thank you, Michael. Good evening, everyone.
We do have a tournament coming up this Saturday at the castle, as always. It is an exercise quad. So most people know what that is, but just in case you want a refresher, it is 3 rounds of games 60 plus 30, and players are grouped based on ratings. So this is usually just a good chance to play people in your section and just kind of have a mini slugfest on a Saturday. So it's good long games too, 60, 30. So rounds are at 10, 130, and just after that. So Dan Boj is the TD for that one, but check out the castle for more. And with that, that's the only announcement we have for today. So I'll send it over to Nubair.
Thank you, Michael, for the announcements. Let's have a look into the round 2 of Thursday Nighter. We have Nathan playing against Jordan on board 1 today, and it's very, very interesting game so far. Let's see how Nathan got down to 10 minutes so early from the beginning to understand it better. So the game started with G4, knight f6, and knight c3. So not going for the mainline stuff, but going for something sideline, maybe London system, maybe Dubawa London. Let's see. So instead of d5, which is a regular move, and people play bishop f4, bishop g5, and so on. But here we saw e6, inviting the French defense. So if white plays e4, black would like to go d5, e5, knight d7, and so on. The typical French defense theory. So white decided to go e4. Because if you don't go e4 now also, then I don't know what we are doing here. Black might even go bishop to b4 or bishop to e7, or simply h6 is also possible. So finally, white decided to go e4, d5, e5, and we have French defense after starting with 1 d4. After that, we followed the main line stuff, more or less. h6, yeah. And usually they don't play a4. Usual move is queen d2, and there are moves like b5, queen b6, sometimes takes. And some club tier also plays c4 at times, and they just want to expand on b5, b4. But we simply saw here a prophylactic move from team here, preventing the b5 advance by playing a4. Usually it's not a good idea to do a4 because as a white you want to play queen d2, castle long, and try to attack on the queen side. Maybe put the knight like this, go g4, f5, bishop d3, or bishop e2. And as you want to keep your king on c1 or b1, you are not really happy pushing the pawns on the queen side. So that's why in long run it's not going to be good. Temporarily it's perfect, you prevent b5. But in long run, it has got some drawbacks. For example, the b4 square becomes weak. The bishop could land here, the knight could land here, and there's nothing which white can do about it. So h6, not sure exactly what black wants with this.
Are there ever any scenarios where, because I'm not super familiar with this exact position, were there any scenarios where white can kind of keep the king in the center, or is it too dangerous?
I would say after h6 it's black who has damaged more. I mean, if you give me this position, I'll prefer black because as I said, there are holes here, or maybe I just could play queen b6 or queen f5, and it's not so big deal. If I cannot get b5, I still have some points for the Britishers to attack, or I can just play bishop e7 castle later on. But after h6, I feel like this is a huge weakness because imagine this f5 coming, or bishop is on d3, and okay, I guess take this for the moment, and it's not a big deal. But imagine this happens, and we have this diagonal super weak. Like you cannot prevent a check on this, and if the check comes, you're gone. So I think this is a very big positional mistake or something which black should avoid. So knight e2. I was looking at moves like f5, but maybe takes, and tactically black is fine at the moment because queen d4 there's a bishop c5, and after queen g4, I'm not 100% sure, but maybe he can castle. I know there's a take coming in, f6 coming in. We have g6 and some lines to be calculated and seen. But for sure, black is at risk, and if he survives. Otherwise, it's bad for black. So white just tries to play solid and typical idea of French, like we just try to put one knight on d4. Later you consolidate with c3, and Then you try to get bishop d3 f5. So this is also fine. Like if you're playing a classical game, it makes sense to go like this. And g5 here. I know people play like this sometimes in some lines, but not recommended to do this kind of stuff in French. In Karogan, it works because many times the bishop is open, and uh, it's a better version. Here I see that it's so much damage. Like even if I can see moves like this coming and this queen h5 check is there, looks scary to me. f5 is possible. Even if it does, white doesn't, white like even captures and goes bishop d3, it's good for white. He goes bishop d3, and probably for gf4 he can capture or just go bishop to f4. And in case of g4, probably he was planning to capture and go knight d4, winning a pawn with a double attack.
Yeah, it's just white's king is always going to be safer than black's king now.
Yeah. So d5 was like, this plan was completely unnecessary, and we can already see that Jordan has won this. So this is where Nathan lost all his time finding some creative ideas. So queen e1, queen e7, queen g3. And as I said, white is on the driver's seat. He can do whatever he wants. But Jordan simply following the concepts, developing all pieces, improving the piece placement, and now he's all set to attack. He has improved every single piece. And once he's set, first he eliminates the active piece, gets the, okay, this also hurts. Knight d4 is going to hurt soon, but if also hurts, d4, probably not necessary. But maybe he just doesn't want knight to come to c5 or the pawn to come to c5. So goes b4, king h1. Okay, so white is looking for a breakthrough here. Something like this might come at some moment, but it's not forced to take here at the moment. So we need to find something, or we need to open the file rather. And the moment this happens, it's going to be a game over.
Mm-hmm.
Also, probably c4 is possible. Like we just try to open up things. g4, bishop e4, or b5, or try to get something like this. In the game, he chose bishop d2, queen h5, and probably knight h4 or something. Okay, he was lucky enough to get knight d4 at the right moment, or at very wrong moment. Black captured this, which allowed white to go knight d4, and after that, it's a juicy spot for knight, and it's just over. And tactics are going to come because all pieces are set to attack. The black king is weak, so sooner or later the tactics are gonna come, and it came. We got a shot here, rook f7, knight into d3, rook g7, king to d8, and knight c6 checkmate.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like just Nathan, like, if I don't know your takeaway, Nubair, but like to me, and I was looking at this game briefly before we started the stream, but it seemed to me that Nathan was a little scared of Jordan's play on the king side. It looked like he was scaled the castle, so he played like h6 and eventually played g5, and that just was a bit too passive and weakening of your own king.
Yeah, but I think I'll give. I mean, Jordan has won this game, but I'll give credit to Nathan because it's where it's ethics where he lost this game, like the wrong plan. Like everything was good, and a6, a4. Jordan has made the positional mistake, and this is not a good idea to prevent b5. Now, only thing he has to do was to play something like queen b6, queen f5. But even if he doesn't play that, he could have played bishop e7 and castle, and maybe f6 if needed. But for sure, not something like h6, g5. That was totally unnecessary. And we know that in French, like the pawn is always on e5, and which means that the king side belongs to the white. And this is the side where white should play and not black. And black played two big blunders. I mean, he made two big positional mistakes by playing h6, g5. And that's why he lost this game. And if you get scared of white's attack, I think you should not play French. Because it's going to come. The f5 is going to come. The knight g5 is going to come. Some sacrifice are going to come. Sometimes the Greek gift might be threatened at all the time. So you have to decide to castle or not to run this side. Just because your opponent prevented your one plan, you cannot say that I'm not going to develop the pieces or I will do something different on the different side of the board. This is not your natural side to play on. So I think this is where he won the game, and I think Nathan will learn a lot from this. He has lost very badly, but I think there are a million things to learn and understand about the French that probably he will never do this in French again. And it's a life lesson, I think. So I think it's a more of win for Nathan than Jordan, because he had just won a game and probably he's not going to win like this again against Nathan for his whole life. If Nathan watches this again, like he's never going to play this and he's not never going to have a cakewalk. And I have recommended 3 moves to try. So I will not tell which move exactly to try, but let Nathan explore this.
Yeah, that's good advice.
All right, then. I think let's go to the next one, because I think there's very little to analyze in this. Everything was, I mean,
Yeah.
probably not. I mean, it's just bad. I mean, I don't see this king going to safety anytime. So it's just bad position to play on. So let's go to AD. He's playing on board 2 with black pieces against corner. And it's a Syrian Alapin. No Nasrov today. Knight f6. Bishop e2. G6. So for those viewers, guys, if you're thinking why does blended a pawn, it's no. It's a check, and you lose a piece here. Castle. Bishop g7. And in those positions, playing knight is a bad idea, because just for example, now we can go d4, and the difference is whenever you capture here, or you capture, and capture, you lose a piece again, because again the check comes, or the knight hangs. So that is why black does not play the natural knight c6, as it gives white the move d4. So d3 was played. I know there are people who also play rook e1 castle, and then they move the bishop to f1 or c4. Because d3 is not so great now, you cannot really get the d4. That was the whole idea of playing the Alapin Sicilian or third move c3. So I think so far the opening has been successful for black.
Yeah.
And we can see on the time also 131, 133. So e5, c4. Okay. And this is some kind of a reverse King's Indian position, but usually if the bishop is here, then white is preferred, because black has played 2 moves like d6 and d5. Usually we get such positions in normal King's Indian with white capturing like this. But here, as white has developed the bishop to e2, black could do this. And again, if white has to do this, he has to spend another 2 moves. So I think it's going to be a eventually better position for black, as we have to spend another 2 moves to improve the bishop.
Mhm.
But again, playable here, h6 is important, because many times the knight g5 comes, and then you play h6, then knight e4, and at times it's annoying, like because then he can go knight d6 or this knight d6. You're not happy playing bishop f8, then queen f3 might come or something might come, and your pieces just get misplaced.
Yeah.
That's what's important to play h6 here. He went like this. Okay. I don't see the point like playing this move after the queen has moved. I know he wants to prevent rook d8, but honestly speaking, here black can literally play any of this, and he will be absolutely fine, because eventually he has to get f5 as well.
Mhm. Yeah.
Not a good idea. You're putting your bishop on d2. I don't know where this knight will go now. Simply rook d8 or something. Queen c2.
Yeah, Connor's just playing this really passively.
Yeah, he was not giving us threats. He was just improving his pieces or rotating the pieces. And he was playing a bit faster. So let's see. I think he's still fine. Not worse, but definitely black is better. It's not also exchanging pieces. It's not a good idea. I should exchange one knight and then try to, simply get the other knight to the party. But instead, or simply knight d2 here right away, just like this. But instead, he went knight d3, and then good idea by AD that he wants to exchange the large square bishops. So knight e4, and still I think he can play f5. but looks like both players are not interested in doing that. Can you tell us why? Queen e3, bishop c6. So finally, after so much of drama, AD decided to capture one knight. Thank you, AD, for making our life easier. Bishop c6, and no b3 here, but a5. Not worried about bishop a5, rook d2. And we have this position right now on the board with 24 minutes for AD and 51 for corner. And he's thinking maybe h4, h5, maybe queen f3, maybe fixing these people around there. But for sure, black is preferable here. Pawn is a bit weak. He can simply make triple on the d file, forcing white to go something like bishop f1 at some point, and then he can go bishop c6, bishop b7, and something like this, for instance.
Hmm.
So what to do here? What to do here as white? I cannot see anything apart from h4, h5 ideas.
And if yeah, I guess that doesn't work out. Yeah, I don't see anything else either. White's so cramped. I mean, black. It's gonna be hard for black to prove something, but he just has better pieces and more space, and kind of the weakness on d3, which is a little vulnerable. So, I mean, Eddie does have half the time of Connor, so it could be a little tough to prove something, but yeah, definitely advantage Eddie.
And also because of the poor placement of these pieces, white cannot go f4. Like it could be an idea at times, like it could be a playable move at times, but right now it's a blunder as the e1 hangs and the e8 is supported. So there's no f4 here, so it's not good here. It's not definitely a good position for white. But yeah, he can try to play h4, something like this, h5, maybe queen g5, bishop h3. I mean, he has to pray, of course, here to get better or to get some counterplay. Uh, let's see what happens. I think he's going to take some time. He has not thought much in this game. He has got 50 minutes on the clock.
I wonder if we can like play b4. I just really want to get that dark squared bishop out.
Yeah, maybe it's possible. But as I said, like the d4 would be very, very weak, and maybe just like black can take and go queen c3, for instance, and the pawn looks quite weak. Maybe rook d4 is also possible. So if we play b4, I think one thing is sure that we will lose the pawn. But if white can get a counterplay against the c5 or somehow some counterplay, he can hope
Yeah.
to survive. Possible. It's also possible. Just get rid of the weakness. Actually, there's no e4 or something f4 coming right now. So, but okay, let's see what he figures out to be the best for white. Let's move to the next game. We have Dane Zager playing against Stuart Noah. And it's a queen pawn game. And a Queen's Gambit, Karlspad. But then it's not capturing, so we still remain in the main Queen's Gambit. At 6, bishop h4. So are we going to witness a last card difference here? So this is the last card difference, guys. And this is called Tartakova system. When you play bc bishop b7. Usually they play knight d7 first, or take c5 at times.
Yeah.
But here, Noah went c5 right away, and for a reason, Dane thought for the first time in the game, like he had 1 hour 30 minutes full, and when his opponent played c5, He thought for 5 minutes and went rook c1. I think completely fine move. Knight
Uh,
d7. So, however, I feel like maybe we can start with this.
yeah,
Yes.
what's kind of cool is to the best of my knowledge, it's actually a coach and a student game. So Dane is Noah's coach, at least to my most recent knowledge, which was like maybe a couple months ago. But I'm pretty sure Noah is still taking lessons from Dane. So Noah's improved a lot though under Dane. So this will be a good game.
Interesting to see. That's great to know. So rook c1, knight d7, takes, and okay, he improves all pieces and then probably going for takes. Knight d5 usually, because if you play e d5, there are moves like knight e5, bishop here, maybe queen f4 at times, or even simply take, and the pawns are a bit of hanging nature. So many times black tend to play knight d5 and equalize by exchanging pieces. Like if you exchange two minor pieces, and even if white gets central control, many times black is in time to create counterplay or be in rook c8. So bishop g3 was played, trying to keep pieces. This is fine. Knight f6, knight e5 probably, queen c2. So not giving up the e4 square, fighting to get e4. Rook c8. Now we cannot go e4 as there is cd4 and we cannot capture because the queen hangs. And if he has to capture knight d4, then it's not something which white is looking for. This is not good. I mean, I can understand why black played this. The knight looks good. You don't know what to do next, but you should not give bishop just like that. You could have played queen c7, queen e7, and tried to exchange pieces. This is bad. This gives white a bishop pair. And once e4 is there, it will be very, very bad or even terrible for black. Okay, so black trying to exchange pieces, but still the endgame is preferable for white.
Hmm. Yeah.
What do you think? Noah's chances to hold this?
It's like I had to give a specific number, maybe like eh, maybe like 35%. I don't know. It's I mean, like you said, white's slightly better because of the bishop pair and he has more space, but black does have kind of an easier way to create a pass pawn. Not like he's going to be creating it anytime soon, but he has like a 2-on-1 on the queen side. And I don't see I mean, Dane's thinking right now, but maybe he can play like queen c2 and just try to get the queen to the okay, he plays queen c1, gets the queen to the open file, but yeah.
Yeah, so definitely there were two ways to play this: queen c2, queen c1. We were talking about queen c2 because then that keeps the a2 pawn supported. And there are two ways, as I said, like you just try to play something like queen c2, e4, and just try to improve the position, or you try to take the knight and double the pawn structure, and then try to win in the same color bishop. But I think it makes more sense to play with two bishops, as the knight is not doing much. And probably for bishop b7, he wants to go queen c7 or something. So it won't change much if you play queen c2 or queen c1. But let's see if he has some interesting idea like queen a3, or because then he might go to queen e7 or something. Let's say bishop b7, queen a3, a5, and then maybe if he's aiming to get queen e7 or something, or takes queen e7, he may win something there, or it could be interesting to watch. Or because in queen c2, queen a4, you cannot really enter these squares.
Yeah,
So let's see.
good point. What would you say like Dane's chances are here of winning this?
Adding 70% chances. I'll give slightly more chances because he has not exchanged the knight, which means, I mean, he has understood that it's better to keep two bishops. So, as long as he's not going to give the bishop pair, the chances are going to remain there for a while.
Yeah.
Uh, and I could see he's also up on time by 5 minutes. He's the coach, Noah is the student, so that's why slightly more chances. Shall we move to the next one?
Yeah.
Can you tell a bit about the players, Matthew and John?
Yeah, these two players I'm actually not familiar with. Obviously they're both strong players, and I think these would be their FIDE ratings. So John, I believe he doesn't play much anymore. He's an older individual, and then Matthew. I think Matthew's a younger guy, but he played Dane last week and was able to hold a draw in kind of a crazy game. But this should be an interesting one.
Yeah, sounds good. And it seems that John was defeated by Noah in the first round, and not a good comeback for John or the good return. But there are still 4 more rounds left, and anything is possible. So let's see how he reacts to Matthews. Okay, so he's not going to play Queen's Gambit. He wants to be a bit more active, trying to be go into something like Ragozin or more sharper lines. So e3. That's a 6. Okay. So now John is playing quite active positional style. But Matthew wants to beat John, it seems. He wants some attack, some craziness in the position, goes long castle, trying to open up things. I would just go g4, to be honest, like just sacrifice, But maybe the f2 is hanging, so he didn't prefer that. That could be a case because it's really f2 pawn is not hanging and black has to go back, and then you get enough time to attack or play e4, knight e5 like moves and some shots. But if this pawn is hanging, I can understand. So the idea of a3 was to prevent this. And once he played b6 with the idea of bishop a6, Matthew captured on d5. It seems perfect. And instead of attacking, he just spotted a tactic over there and going for a pawn. Okay, if you get material, I mean, that's also fine. You're getting e4 next, bishop f4 next. Life is good.
Yeah.
And black tried to exchange points, which is not a good idea when you're material down. But if it helps you to prevent from white from getting e4, maybe it's fine. I was just wondering what to do after g4, g6, take knight h4.
Yeah, that does look good.
Or knight h4 directly, and you have to go back anyways. I mean, what's the point of going knight g6 here? I mean, if your opponent goes rook f8, you can try to get knight f5, simply an e4. For instance, f3, and the idea is to get e4. And if you play g5, okay, we simply play knight f5. And that's the whole point. After rook f5, e4, there is no rook takes f2.
It is bishop g3, right? Instead of g5.
Yeah, you're right. I missed it. And yeah, it's not working. We can try to play knight g6, but even bishop e1 is fine. Maybe, so as I said, knight h4 should not be played. He could have started with g4 or something. And only after the weaknesses are obvious, you can go like this. But maybe g4 also he was worried about take, and f8. And somehow, for some strange reason, every variation the f2 pawn is hanging of Matthew. And there is no rook e2 here, guys. Rook e2 would be a blunder. If you will go rook e2, knight f4 wins on the spot, followed by knight d3. So he got something. The old man has got something to play for. Knight h4, rook f8, knight g6. So he decided to maneuver the knight to e5 by removing the rook from e8. But again, the rook is going to come here for g5. Possibilities are there. So he went b5, trying to create something on the queen side. Maybe try to do some kind of a minority attack kind of theme. And Black did manage to open a file here, but I believe after king c2, king b3, it's going to benefit only the white side.
Hmm.
So I don't know what he's going to play here, and probably that's why he's thinking.
Yeah.
Or maybe some ideas like this
Yeah,
possible, but again, yeah,
he's putting up good resistance. Maybe knight takes, and then maybe a4, a3. I don't know.
knight before f4 actually sounds good. So maybe knight c4, not allowing you to go a4. Oh, sorry, I don't know why I'm blundering everything today. So this rook is I didn't like this rook here from very beginning. So either I should play king b1 or rook e2, or simply bishop c3. But then I don't want you to have this option available all the time. Uh, so maybe rook to e2, and if you go a4, probably not c4.
Yeah.
And now also I'm threatening take, and there's no rook f2. So this looks good to me. But for sure, black had to try something like this. Otherwise, he's just worse. He's thinking he has got 32 minutes or 33 minutes to 17 minutes, 39 seconds of Matthew. So if black plays a bit fast, I think he could generate something or some counterplay or at least some difficulty for white to convert this on clock.
Yeah, I agree. This is still an interesting game.
Okay. So we'll come back to this lecture. It's black is going to think for a while that how he's gonna complicate this. We have a rook endgame here between Jacob and William. Michael, can you take us through this game?
Yeah, so Jacob Picus, at least just to mention the players, I know he's about, I think he's around 1800, or at least he peaked around 1800 last I checked. And then William Murphy, I'm not as familiar with William Murphy. I've never played him. But yeah, Jacob does like these kind of, I don't know what you call these, but kind of like the slow play where he plays on the edge of the board, fianchettos his bishop. He doesn't immediately strike in the center, but this is quite normal for him.
Yeah, some kind of variety system.
Yeah. It looks like, yeah, so pretty typical black's taking space in the center, but I mean, I think black's already equalized.
Yeah.
Then, so what? Yeah, white's trying to for e4, but they can't play it quite yet.
So playing knight descent would be blunder here as there's a e4 coming in. And if you go back with the bishop, e5, of course. So you think of capturing, you capture. Now this bishop hangs, so you have to play knight e4. And here probably there are two moves which wins. One is of course rook e4, bishop e4, and queen d6. And probably knight h4 also wins because like it's a triple attack suddenly.
Yeah, maybe they have knight f6, so maybe we do just play rook takes.
Rook takes e4, yeah. Knight f6, I was thinking. It's not gonna work actually, yeah. And bishop f6, queen f6, yeah. So probably your typical idea is going to be winning idea. And this is a much better position with two bishops.
Yeah.
And for a reason, bishop h7 was played in the game. But actually, that doesn't stop white from playing e4. I mean, not now, but let's say moment he plays knight d7, still e4 would be possible with the same ideas like takes knight e4, there would be rook e4 again, and the bishop would be hanging. But let's see how he played. He played knight d2, knight d7, e4, and now e5 is possible. Taking was not good because now this allows the b1 knight to go to e4 in two moves, and I'll also give chance to exchange the active knight or the defender of the king. And whenever the queenside knight gets exchanged with the kingside knight, it weakens the king.
Do you think this is really a strategical concept, but do you think there was a difference between taking with the knight or the pawn on e4?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, you can take with the knight here because I see you take and then there's e5, and there is no future for this knight as of now because like there's no knight c4. I mean, you can go on something like knight f1, knight e3, and knight f5, but that's not happening because the e4 hangs. Like you play this, okay, e5, and you can say that okay, for the moment the bishop hangs, but then knight c5, and it just equal after that. For instance, you don't have any play. So if black wants to just make a draw, he can make draw. But black can also play for a more. And
Okay.
still you cannot play this because the e4 hangs. You still try to figure out how exactly to defend the pawn, and black is already playing bishop e3, bishop e4, or bishop c5. I mean, this is also possible here, and then take on e4. And you're just giving so many options for black.
So he found the right move with knight takes. Okay.
So here, knight e4 is correct. Maybe black would have uh, played e5 directly, but maybe he was dropping a pawn there because of three attackers right now. But at the same time, the d3 hangs, so it equalizes at somehow. But maybe black was not looking to equalize as after losing the first game, right? Yeah, he wanted to win. 94, bishop e7, takes, and usually it's better to take and then go d4 like moves because then your bishop is not worse than this. But now this bishop is attacking on d4 and this one is defending, so for sure the f6 one is better than the b2 one.
Yeah.
Queen c7, queen e2 c5, knight e5 just capture, go some rook d8 stuff. Like rook d8, maybe knight f7 is coming. And I was just calculating this line after bishop into e4, queen a6. And it looks very scary to me. But maybe knight f8 is possible, but then there's a still perpetual.
Yeah, funny way to force a draw.
Yeah. And no option for both the sides, probably. There's a king f8 here, but very, very risky in my opinion. Like knight d6 is there. At least I have queen e7, queen e6 again if I want to make draw badly. But this could be an interesting or the cute checkmate. So I think it's white who's doing here things. And king f7 probably check. King f8. And bishop d5 or something. And if you capture, we have got two options to checkmate. I don't see how he's going to defend f7.
Yeah, this is sneaky.
Maybe knight b6. And we have another cute checkmate coming in. So I think more or less everything is mined. And this check cannot be prevented if you touch the knight, which means that white is going to win this one. For a reason, in the game, knight e5 was captured to avoid all this. And now black is playing this slightly inferior endgame because of this weakness over here. So rook d1 and white is better. We can claim that. Sometimes people also play takes, rook d8 to try to make double, and they just capture, and get king f8, king e7. But here after king f8, there's a rook d7, and if for rook c7, there is this rook d8 possibilities available. So black is one move behind. He needs to either develop the bishop or start with rook movement, but here is a blunder. So he plays bishop c2. And after the rook moves, probably his idea is to just simply capture and then go something like rook d8 as we were discussing. And also the one more idea would be just capture, go rook d8. And is absolutely fine. There is no rook d1 anymore. And even imagine if he gets the rook to d6 after trades, there will be another counterplay coming in. So white has to capture, rook d2, bishop goes back, and then probably makes double. I mean, once you exchange the bishops, I think it's going to be a pure draw.
Yeah, I would have preferred doubling myself, but if he wants to draw, it's a simple way to do it.
Yeah, but maybe Jacob just wants to make a draw here against William Murphy. And the exchange bishops. And now, as they say, all rook in endgames are drawn unless someone blunders. So, and they are playing this, and most mistakes will still draw the game. They'll draw. I mean, why? I mean, you give this pawn. Like, what's the reason to give the pawn? If you want, you can just play c6 and there's a rook d7 as well, but you can just play rook c2 as well. But he plays h4, he just wants to. I mean, I would have done this, but then again, the pawn is hanging. So, fine, as of now, he's trying this because of this available move. And I think this game is going to be a draw.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, William should. I mean, both these players are strong enough where they're not gonna blunder in an endgame like this. At least I wouldn't think so. Jacob does have only 7 minutes, but I mean now he'll play rook d7 like you said. He'll take the a pawn and should very high chance of being a draw.
Yeah. We have one more game going from the open section. Other games are finished. And it's Mish Ross playing here with black and losing probably unless this pawn wins, which I don't see happening. So Jeremy is winning this one. Let's see how we got this. So today, lots of English openings, yeah?
Mm.
And then getting converted into the Queen's Gambit.
Yeah.
Well, definitely, this is not a good idea. Like you develop your bishop to b4 and you go back. So guys, that's
Yeah.
the fun of working the open section games. So in an absolutely normal position, white is a tempo up. It will be hard to find this position with white to play in database, but we do have, and white also makes a mistake pushing it further. He could have just gone rook e1 e4, queen c2 e4, or queen e2 e4, or rook c1 or rook b1, but not c5 here because there are e5 possibilities, or b6. But b6 is fine here because b4, a5, a3 is usually considered to be okay. So bishop h4 and d6, and I would have maybe forced the exchange of this, guys. But black thinks that no need to do that. There is simply e5 coming in. I was a bit worried about this moves like b5 at times because takes, then there's a d5, c6. You have to go back with the knight, then knight b5 is coming with c7 threat. Then you have to play knight a6, and the knight is little awkward on a6. So I would have forced the trade-off knight and bishop. But here black is aiming to just get a5. Which is also a fine thing to do, but it will only hurt the moment queen f4 comes. He needs to play this. He has to attack the weakness, force him to trade this. Then there's a bishop b7. And black is just in time to survive, probably. He goes knight f5. Black does not defend the bishop. Queen f4, f3 is possible. This is more to the point because you cannot play queen c7 here. And for moves like bishop b7, you simply get your rook to the open file.
Yeah.
But maybe he was scared of something like knight c5 coming in, but I don't think it's happening because it's a check. So f3. And now again, black is good because the position is now open and the bishops are strong now.
Yeah, knight f1 just seems passive.
Yeah, but I don't think he had many options, sir. He can go e4, but then again he has to calculate a pawn sacrifice, which is probably an absolutely fine thing to do because then you get attack on the king. But the thing is, you need to calculate, and he did not do that, and that's why he has got into here. He would have played queen a4 at many times, and the c6 was just hanging, in my opinion. But he didn't do that. So in chess,
Yeah.
guys, we say if you cannot calculate, you cannot win. That is what here black is having problems. Wait a sec. So he would have captured here, captured, and probably queen c6. And in my opinion, the endgame is simply good for black. Like he can go here or bishop g4. You have to move the rook and you just attack the weakness, or even
Yeah.
just trade the rooks. Instead, he went some f5, creating some weaknesses.
And he spent a decent bit. He spent 7 minutes on that move, so at least he probably thought about it.
Yeah, but there was just no need. Like he has got already two bishops. So now we can see the threats coming in. White can also probably go knight g2 rook f1. Instead,
Yeah,
he goes for c6.
now it's kind of turning.
Yeah, it's not looking good. Now he wants to play rook f2 and try to come from that side. Yeah, I was wondering about this move, but still I believe there's a rook f2 here and some problems.
Mm.
Even this, like takes, but I don't see how this pawn is going to queen after that. So I wanted to, enter from f to f7 and
Yeah,
attack the pieces.
that looked really good.
And now knight is on the verge of getting trapped. He found a way, but after this, I don't know what he's going to do.
Wow, this is. I mean, I don't want to call it early, but already this is the game of the night. I mean, most of the games when they got to move 34, it was over already. But this game's still interesting.
Yeah, still there's some circles going on, some threats going on. 95, so the bishop is going to feel some bit awkward there. So he captures. And as I said, the knight is still bad. So it's going to take at least 3 moves to get here. And probably after this, there's a c4, c3 coming in as well. There's a d4 coming in. But d4, there's a knight d2 coming in. For bishop here, knight c4, and then black loses. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Still white is preferred because of the b7 pawn. What is doing? He's trying to get into this, but simply knight c5, knight a6 is game over.
Yeah.
And this happens. He goes bishop d5. I think this is not going to work. He can even capture the d5. And yes, Jeremy is going to win this. And I think he has played a good chess.
Hmm. And what if he? I mean, I'm sure it's still lost, but instead of taking on e3, that only helped White's king just get closer to attack Black's bishop. So I wonder if he just would have played bishop d5 right away. How does White? How does White immediately win that?
Probably just capture, and you are 2-3 pawns up.
3, 4. Okay, yeah. Guess we are 2 pawns up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rough spot.
And black cannot make progress. Like he has got all passive pieces, and only defense, and it's gonna collapse soon.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. So we have 2 games finished. Okay, we can just go to maybe this game because Jacob is down to 2 minutes. It's going to be a draw. It's a simple rook end game, but William is using his full experience. Murphy wants to win this with king g4 and putting some pressure. So the best thing in such position is just to give pawn at times and make a draw by Philidor defense. Just keep your rook on the 3rd rank and call a day. Because if king g4 comes, then this pawn serves as an umbrella and the check is going to come. You might lose this pawn. For instance, let's say if I here, king g4, and you try to be smart by going rook g7. But what happens is You get a check. Now you got to go somewhere, and now he plays rook c5. The difference is not only he defends the pawn, but also attacks. So if you play king f2, okay, you're going to lose this pawn, and there's going to be rook a2. So you have to push this, and then the king g3 comes. Ah, but this white is so lucky here. Just in time, he has got this shot, and it's a check, and that hurts. So maybe this is a good trap to set for an old man. But okay, if black wants to draw, he can just play rook c8 and draw the game anytime. But this is what usually the idea is. So maybe he can start with rook a6, rook a4, or rook a6, and still the job will be done. So the best is you just give up the pawn and establish a third rank defense. Or
Yeah,
even passive defense will work because it's a knight pawn.
I wonder. Wait, where's the life position here?
So we were here and we saw rook h7, king g4, a5, and as I said now, either rook c2 or rook a4 will come, and white is going to lose a pawn here. With 2 minutes for Jacob and years of experience for Murphy, I think William has fair chances to win this.
Yeah, yeah, definitely Williams the one pushing now. Where before it looked like a fairly clean draw, but this is scary now. Yeah, he's down from 7 minutes to 2 minutes. William still has all the time in the world. William with great time management, by the way. So, kind of applaud him. I mean, maybe you could argue he even played a little too fast, but like I said, I'm not familiar with him or his playing style, so maybe that's the right tempo for him. But for me, that would, if I played that fast, it probably wouldn't work out.
Yeah, if it works, works. I mean, win is a win.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, let's just check out the games of Robert and John Baker. So we had Norman Madden playing against Robert. And we have a very quick game, guys, the shortest game of the day. Can you guess the opening, guys?
Hmm.
So Ichi was played. And I believe even if I give you 10 chances, you cannot guess what Robert has played here.
Okay, I'm not looking. I'm gonna guess A5.
F5. Okay, one more try. I'll give you 3 chances.
Okay, A5. My next guess will be H5, and then my last
Okay.
guess will be Rook G8.
Rook G8. It doesn't waste time. He gets G5 directly.
Okay, so not bad, but not like super super bad.
So there's just no I mean, there's just no way that, any human could get this. Probably do, and if you go to the database or online database or mega database, for sure this will be a novelty. Maybe not, because nowadays we have lots of title Tuesdays and speeches events, and people do mouse slip. So
Hmm.
maybe it won't be a novelty because of that reason. But otherwise, it's an I don't know what to say. He has one game in 14 moves, 16 moves. So it has been an absolute brilliant idea, I would say. You are not allowing white to develop knight f3. I mean, how can you win in 7 moves from here with black, especially?
Yeah, and Norman is a solid player. I think he's around 1600.
And he's just giving up the pawn. He's like, keep it. I don't understand what he wants to do next. Wow, he played castle in a position where g5, queen h5 could have come in 2 moves.
Yeah, this is great for Norm.
And he did play g5. And it's not Norman, guys. It's Robert who has won this game. Because Robert can calculate crazy lines. He plays knight d4. So what's his point? If he plays queen h5, check, queen h5, he's going to get q a check, king to c2, and then probably just going to play rook e8.
Yeah.
And after that, I don't see what's happening next. Like, it's not clear for sure. So he played queen h5 check as well. We also have knight c2, king e2, and h6.
Yeah,
No fear at all.
Wow.
Absolute no fear. You captured? You captured? Okay, finally I was able to guess one more of Robert. At 7 check. Okay, this is very, very bad. And now the king is super safe. The safest piece on the board right now. So probably he has to save the rook. But he doesn't save the rook. He gets bishop f5 and checkmate. So f4, queen d3, and we are going to have a checkmate in one, so he resigns here.
Wow.
It's absolute cinema. I mean,
Yeah, that's yeah.
this is really, really crazy. And he did all this in 5 minutes or 6 minutes.
I mean,
And
if you wanted to play it really solid, what I was looking at, and it might not be best, but after knight takes d4, which is kind of the critical moment of the game, if you can say there was a critical moment, just I mean, take the knight, and then if bishop takes, maybe like bishop f4. I mean, if bishop takes a1, queen takes a1, I mean, white has to still be.
but I was wondering, okay, yes, of course. I mean, we do have this move, but in this, I thought this is a problem. And black gets like 3 pawns. So black is fine, I guess. But I was worried more about what if I even do something like this? Like you move your knight, no worries, fine. Let's say e6 or c6. And then also I can still play queen h5. Like you capture this, I go here. And how do you defend this? Like
Yeah,
n6 now,
yeah, we have to play rook e8 again. Yeah.
and probably g6 or something. Like just like going for bishop h6 miniature idea.
Or yeah,
Almost
slow play
here.
like rook d1. Yeah.
Yeah, rook d1 can also be possible. You can include this move. But I didn't wanted this to happen. Like I hit checks. So
Yeah, true.
hanging. So I'm not interested in doing anything on the king queen side. Just go g6 and just get the job done. Like take and I maybe just play this. Maybe I have better moves like bishop h6 or rook h. I don't know, something like that. But as I said, I don't want checks to come because those are really annoying. Like the bishop f6, I don't like that. So maybe I'll just go with my instincts. But check again, knight d4, bishop d4, bishop d4, and I have rook h7, but for some reason I feel like it's not winning. Like take this, takes, rook h7, I thought bishop f6. So, oh, sorry. Not this, sorry. So takes, knight d4, check, bishop d4, and what did I see here? This is just gone. So probably it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no difference. So he has to play queen d4. And I don't know what's happening here. Maybe now, maybe black is fine.
Yeah,
Let's
it
rook
looks
it.
like it.
And you go queen f6. And black is fine. Wait, are we missing something? Bishop e3 knight here. And maybe we are missing h6 as Robert's idea. But now maybe this. Again, bishop d7 I don't like. This is this guy.
Yeah, at very least, white can just play passive, and they're pretty much always in a better position because they're up a pawn, the H file's open, or half open.
So I think what Robert did was correct. Gosh, unbelievable stuff. He won this just like that. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, Norm spent his time too, but unfortunately, it didn't quite work out.
Yeah. So game of the day for me is Robert. Because if you can win in 15 moves, 16 moves, and checkmate your opponent, I mean, with black pieces, you are special for sure. And finally, we have one Karukan. Thanks, John, for playing Karukan. So we have advanced variation from Tanush Vashne. And but he did not capture the pawn or when knight f3 or c4, which is important to go here. And white has to continue playing in the spirit of the position that is active and dynamic. If you go defensive, then black gets a good position. Not good moves. And usually black should get bishop out, and then only some kind of e6.
Yeah.
But guys, this game is from the open section, so do not expect moves like premier guys. And lots of positional mistakes. He plays e6, then he plays c4, he plays a3. The bishop is not coming here, the pawns are not getting traded here, the f5 is not coming, the b5s are not coming, the f4, f5s are not coming. And now white is playing g4. And then he's capturing as well. So far, John's play has been better. So as I said, you have to castle long in the French to get better position. Knight h1, I mean, I know he's attacking the pawn, but I always wonder, how these people get this confidence from to play moves like this.
Yeah, that's a pretty wild move.
Like, I understand you want to win a pawn, but then you go to again improve your knight, and you have to again go back there. So
I think they
at least
want
play
to
line
claim they want to claim they're better than Magnus because sometimes he misses backwards knight moves.
That's true, maybe. But then they could have proved that knight stands better on f1, right?
Yeah.
Rook g8, no rook h7. And here, it's a simple, I mean, error. You could have just played f5, and it will be anywhere in person, and it will be like the same thing. But he plays f6, allowing queen h7, and also not a big deal that black can just capture and be better. But you simply now have unnecessary counterplay to calculate. I know you are in time to just hit everywhere in the center and get the bishop like this or something like this because of this knight here being here. But still, it will be like additional move to calculate. Oh, wow. And now look, this decided the game. If it had been here, he would have won this, or bishop h6 would have never been possible. So, Mr. Tanush, you lost the game when you played knight h1. And now knight b3. Oops. He did everything to defend the mate, but then knight b3 still came in and he got checkmated. Still a good game, or the best French of the day goes to John Baker.
Yeah. Oh, he played that solidly.
Sorry, he played Caro-Kann and then he went to French.
Yeah, kind of transpose.
Okay. So we saw Mish versus Jeremy, I believe, John versus Tanush. So I think we have covered all the open section games, and this is not live, or this is it?
Let me go back here. This looks right.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a new position. It looks like Nathan, who is in charge of the DGT boards, looks like he uploaded this game just by hand, so we could go over it quick.
Okay. Can you tell a bit about the players? Are they from open section or premier section or anything?
Yeah, so Maxwell and both Nanika, they're both from the open. Maxwell, he's a kid. I think I've never played him, but he seems to be improving rapidly from my impression. And then Nanika, I've never played him either. I think I want to say he's somewhere in like the 1100 range, but don't quote me on that.
Okay. But they're playing much better. And drops a pawn. attacks the pawn back, and after f6, I think it's very, very bad for white. Oops. He thought of getting c5. He's getting still c5, no? If he plays c5, I think the game is on. Like takes, and you have got two pieces to fight for. This is just gone. You're 2 pawns down now with two bishops. This is handleable. That was bad. Never capture knights like this. Yeah, maybe you are right. He's 1100. I mean, he gave the knight, then he allowed the pawn to get captured just like that. He didn't defend the pawn. He could have played rook f7. But then again, this hangs. So, yeah, not sure. E4
Yeah,
was possible.
this is turning into a guess the Elo episode. But yeah, I found Maxwell. He's 1184. I wasn't able to find Nanika's rating, but
All right, we'll come to this lecture. We have right now 80 down to 2 minutes. And f4 has gone. So
and
maybe he's a bit worried about queen e5 coming at some point.
I was looking at this idea earlier of bishop h6, but it didn't because the queen and the rook were on the dark squares, but it didn't quite work because white had knight g5. But now he's going for it because yeah.
So we left this game around here, I believe. And
Yeah,
then
about here.
we saw that AD managed to exchange one pair of knights. And we also saw that the other knights got exchanged, and we were looking at h4 or f4 ideas. f4 was blunder, of course. He went rook f1 to play f4. Seriously? Okay, he prevented some kind of provoked some weakness. Bishop c6 is perfect. I think ED has done the corner has done a good job here.
Yeah, I agree.
Holding things down, but bishop f6 is coming. And we have f4. 80 down to 1 minute. So very tough portion with this less time on the clock. Now it's threatening queen e5, bishop e5 like moves. So probably capture we would witness. And after that, I don't know what to do. Maybe just doubling is a good idea. So we may witness takes, rook e6, queen c6, and rook e8. And if white plays d4 or something, it will be difficult to handle with 1 minute on the clock.
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying it was easy for Eddie, but I mean the position has not completely flipped because I'm not saying Connor is better or anything, but I mean when we last looked at this game, Connor had an absolutely horrible bishop on c1, but now he has a beautiful bishop on b2. So yeah, it's nice.
I agree with you, but I'll still prefer AD with bishop having option of bishop g7 anytime. It's only the time situation which gives some chances to corner. Otherwise, black's position is completely sound and fundamentally perfect. Like he just needs to bring rooks. So the idea of this move over queen b7 is after queen f3, black just wants to play bishop f4. So now he's forcing corner to move the king. And as now he is going to get options, he's going to take some time here. And next move is going to be rook e6. We might see bishop e5 coming in next. It's definitely going to be difficult with 1 minute on the clock.
Yeah, I could see something like king g3, rook e6, bishop e5, and then rook d e8 maybe.
Yeah, or some g5 stuff at some right moment. So he goes king f2, not allowing any problems on the diagonal, but he did allow rook not coming here to defend this pawn in case of emergency. So let's say rook e6, you play bishop e5, and I just double with the threat of rook e5. How do you defend this? It just looks
Yeah,
losing to me.
I don't think you do. Another kind of a cool idea I was looking at is maybe can we just play rook d4 instead?
Where
Uh,
exactly? Here?
yeah, right here.
Yeah, that's also possible because this pawn is very, very vulnerable. Maybe, but there's a perpetual or something. Or maybe not. Maybe not. So that's also possible. He goes rook e6. So queen f3 is the last chance to exchange queens.
Yeah, so bishop e4 5 probably just doesn't work tactically. So maybe queen f3, and the game goes on a little bit.
I was wondering about this more, and still it's difficult to defend the pawn. Like
True.
we can
Yeah.
go play this and just take and take here and win a pawn at least.
Mm-hmm.
So you like it or not, if you want to defend, you have to go king g3, which is a red flag, I would say. At least we have g5. This is not working right now tactically because there's a king f3. But if black wants, he can simply play h4 and you take bishop f4, and this looks terrible to me. Like g5, g4 is coming, rook h6 is coming, resignable. And if you go anywhere else, I can at least win a pawn. He played bishop e5, and it's game. Did he play rook yet? No, not yet. He did play rook yet with 4 seconds on the clock. And now Connor is going to have a difficult or tough time. I think he's relying on this queen f3 idea. Still, it will be a down upon endgame. Like you just capture everything and go rook into e5.
Yeah. Uh,
But
and I
yeah,
think Eddie will after queen f3. I think Eddie's forced to go into that line because otherwise, Connor will consolidate. Whoa.
isn't this a blunder? So he wants to play queen d4.
Oh,
Rook e5 takes.
interesting. Yeah, yeah.
He's losing a queen, but no, sorry. Queen d4, rook e5, fe5, bishop d2, rook d2. Maybe it's fine. He's getting queen d7 check.
Good idea from Connor.
Yeah. So rook e5 takes. No time for queen h1 because queen d7 comes first. The check. So again, it's going to be difficult for AD. Can you find this beautiful idea? But probably Connor isn't time to exchange queens. He goes for rook e5. Simplifying in time pressure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So only move, only move, only move. After that, can he play f4? He can play f4. Like take f4. Okay, it's nothing much that way, but we'll at least get your pawns rolling. And if he plays the endgame, that will help at some point. So queen d7 is a threatened here. King g8 is bad because of this check. Is he going to play rook e7 in that way? But then still queen d5, queen d6 is preferred to white.
This might sound crazy, but I could kind of see Connor pushing for a win here, even though he's been on the
Yeah,
back foot for a while. Because I could see him just being like, "Okay, I have 30 minutes more, and the position is turning in my favor.
Yeah, it could happen. Attacking the pawn, I think that's a good move. Queen e6, queen d7 just booking s6. What I'm worried about is basically this, something like this. Like you have to capture now, and now who's going to win this?
Yeah,
The answer comes as white to me.
and that's why I think it's interesting because there's big pawn majorities on each side.
Yeah, and the black pawns are behind. The king is here dealing with those pass pawns. And these pawns are just pass pawns. The king is not dealing with them. So I think white has a very good chance to win this, even if it trades the queens here. Like just trade, then go to d6. Ah, that's not the move which he should have made. So rook e2 is very, very passive now. Something like this is possible. He would have just exchanged queens and rook d6, but maybe he's just playing on time. But now AD also goes rook e7, and this will go on for some while. Would you like me to stick to this game or just check out the other ones quickly?
We should probably check out the other ones quickly, like the Noah and
Okay.
Dane game.
So here we saw this. Okay, Dane, yeah. No, and Dane, and what? To my surprise, Dane has lost a pawn, and now it's Noah who is not one but two pawns. So a prediction of 65, 70, 30 has gone totally wrong. We'll check out what happened here later. But right now, Dane is in big trouble. Wait, and yeah, I was looking at just this line and maybe some chance, but Bishop B at 79.6 and it's game over. About Matthew and John. Looks good for Matthew as he's up a pawn here. But there are some tricks. And it's Matthew's move, so I would go with Matthew. But I just spot a tactic, for example, rook b2 and rook b2. Okay, we have a check, so fine. But if you blunder like this, then you might lose even. Like exchange for the moment, and then we need to see what's happening really. But for sure, black is fine. So white is thinking to play rook a2 or not, to play that c4 just, or to just capture. Let's go back to AD when d6 played. I think he has to start pushing the pawns. Otherwise, there's just no chance for black.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
He's trying to bring the king, which also makes some sense. But he needs to be a bit aggressive here. The little pieces, 22 pieces are left. This king is a bit exposed. If he's lucky, he could get someday some activity of queen. But looks like he's first gonna play this and then he's gonna push, which is also fine. And now Connor needs to find really something nice.
I was looking over the Dane and Noah game, and so we had Queen C1, like you were espousing, but then we had Bishop D7, which for some reason I didn't see. And then Dane played Bishop B1, which in hindsight I think is a bit too passive, perhaps. Because then Noah played Queen C6, which looks just very appropriate, bringing your queen to contest the open file. And then once they'd played Queen D2, then Noah was able to hop in with his knight. So he kind of started to turn a little bit.
Oops, this happened and oops, got it. So it was as we were discussing, we have just played Queen C2 and E4 and not any kind of Queen C1 and some creativity. Because if you go here, then I think that he must have gone there as well and trying to go something aggressive or something like that. And definitely E4 is, I mean, bishop is not the move which one should make, because then your bishop is not controlling this part of triangle and you're only controlling this and also not this one. So this decreases the value of bishop to higher extent. Here you could have captured the queens and got e4, or just capture and kept the two chances or two result game, but then he allowed queen c3, I think, which created the whole problem. And now maybe he got scared that queen e3 knight e3 is coming at some point, and he ended up capturing. Okay, played queen d3 takes. This works out. You can go bishop c4, bishop b1, but queen e1 just loses because there's a knight c3 coming in. You lose a2 pawn. Once you lose the a2 pawn, it's going to be very difficult. He also had to give up the bishop because he missed knight c6. If he gives like this, it's anyway lost, so he preferred giving second pawn. Okay, but this is just lost. Just bring the king, go f5, whatever you like.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
it's
white will have some little play because of pair of bishop. Okay, let's go back to AD. Now Connor is thinking. So, what are the odds black winning this?
hmm, probably 20%.
20%?
That might be a bit high, but I'll go with 20.
Okay. Being a Kings Indian player, I would give slightly more, maybe 35, 40% here. But if I
Wow.
see the h4, I'll decrease them. Because for me, it's like just a cakewalk for the pawns. And I don't see these pawns winning. So I would try to slightly give more chances if he finds these ideas or if he plays aggressively. But looking at the clock time, 37 to 24 or 25, maybe 20% is good enough.
I think Connor might play b4 here because obviously if queen takes c4, then queen f6,
I mean, this is just hanging, so
or that, yeah.
yeah. Uh, okay, goes back, and now I think it's time to go g5, h4, g4, or f4. So one funny line could be I saw just now is g5, h4, and you play f4, and after capture you go to g4, and e6. Okay, you just say stay away, and now you are aiming. Okay, there's no stay away. Yeah, there's no good stay away move because this if this check is coming, okay, white is just fine, at least with the draw option.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but that queen d4 move, that to me that looks like Connor's kind of like I was mentioning earlier, he's playing for a win. Because otherwise, I mean, just play b4 and start to progress your pawns. But queen d4, it's like, okay, I don't want a queen trade. I don't want to go into the furtherance of this endgame. So I think he's still trying to win, maybe. Because why else would you play queen d4? Are you just so scared about those black pawns?
But I think he missed f4, and if f4 comes in, I think black is not losing this for sure because after this king is a bit vulnerable, and the threats are serious now. I mean, AD has to find f4. If he finds f4, okay, he goes rook d7, another fine move. But he needs to play f4 or g5 to make progress. Okay, meanwhile, Let's check what Matthew has done. We are left is around here with a healthy pawn up position for white. And he did play knight before. Mm, capture. And yeah, this is just winning for white. Even I believe, okay, rook b3. Why not king here? Maybe because Shaikh take and again rook a2. Then king f1 is possible, but he didn't like it maybe.
Uh-oh.
Now this looks scary. I mean, when you can just play rook a2, just play rook a2, man. Like, what's the need of doing this?
Yeah, this. Okay.
This, I mean, you're just going into some unnecessary stuff, total unnecessary. Just because you can calculate and playing fast or something like that.
Yeah.
This is a live position actually. So we have joined at the very perfect moment.
I mean, now we can win a rook, right?
Yeah, this is possibility. Rook a1, e6, e7 is coming. This pawn is winning in 3 moves for sure.
Yeah, this didn't have to be this complicated, but we're getting a good finish to this one.
So black needs to find something very, very concrete here. So let's look at the checks. He's already getting the pawn. So what's wrong then? Just do it. You give a check, post to go king e3, you just capture on e2, king e2, and rook d5.
Yeah, well, he will take the bishop on c3, right?
You want to sacrifice exchange?
Yeah, sacrifice the exchange and e6, or I don't know.
And just king f6, I thought.
Okay, we're going into this line. I mean, because oh wait, I'm stupid. He can hang on. He can hang on to the rook. Yeah, for some reason.
Like it's possible to play like this, and after I go back, you can push the d6 one. But I believe there will be enough checks or some counterplay to make draw. I was thinking what to do. I don't see he has an option here. He has to go this, or he has to capture this take. And after a6, maybe he has one option of rook e6, but that also fits to knight d8, knight e6. So everything is more or less forced here.
Yeah, but he can go. For some reason, I was thinking he couldn't save his rook, but he can go. Like rook 6, a2, and then king d3, rook d1, king e3, and bishop d4 doesn't work because we hide on f2. So yeah. I think Matthew will still win this.
Okay, sounds fine to me. Because the center control is for white, so more chances for him as long as he's not getting mated or landing into perpetual. But meanwhile, 20 seconds for John, 40 seconds for 80. Let's stick to John because we want to see whether he's sacrificing his bishop or not. Or the exchange by Matthew or not. 10, 9, 8. And we have bishop b4. And for sure, this is terrible. I mean, you push, and you just deliver checkmate. I know he might be playing for this cheap idea of c4. And if you make queen, it's a mate, but he can just capture on b4. So what exactly is playing for?
I think you're exactly right. I think he just missed that the knight can take on b4.
Back to live board. And in general also, I mean, what if he just takes on b4 and just be a two-pawner? What's wrong?
Yeah.
I mean, now it's different. It's true that he can even get rook f8 e7 and make things even worse. But maybe he's just counting on rook a2 king here and take and rook into e2. So yeah, it works for the moment, but the simplest one is probably just capture the pawns. Or he can try to go like this. So for instance, e7, knight b4. Oh, my bad. Knight b4, cb4, e7. And now if you do this check, maybe I can go like this. Ah, but there's a rook e2 check. So the only difference is I should be starting with the check first. You're forcing it to go g5 or g6. G6 is bad because it will win with the check. So let's say king g5. I capture now. You capture and now I play e7. Game over. So rook e2, the point is I just go down. I don't need to go here to lose or blunder the rook. So I just do this. Now, irrespective of whatever you do, I can be just fine going to f2 if in case of f4 check or something. And so this makes white to play. First check I was talking about this e7. This forces him to go this rook to a2, and after king d3, that doesn't work out because after rook d1 check, there's a king e3, and after f4 we can at least play king f2.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, there's a rook d2, but we can take and just move anywhere. So he played knight b4 first. Now this allows king e7. Still winning, but you are unnecessarily allowing some counterplay.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
So it's going to be. What is thinking? He has got 6 seconds. He has to capture. There's no other option. And we will have a move very soon or 1-0.
Yeah,
Your guess.
I'm gonna guess a move.
So no moves are coming here. So let's go to AD, who has still not pushed any of the pawns, but managed to create multiple weaknesses. So check here, and so if he goes there, there's rook c6, and that's the whole point. But after that, there is queen b3 check. Another point is you cannot go here or here because then you land into queen b7. And if you go f8 or h8, you still land into queen b8 and queen b7. So this is a good trap to put in time pressure. So queen g3 rook into pawn would be a blunder. So he'll be playing king h7, and then there is some e6 ideas. But then maybe he can capture. So Connor has to really farm this really well if he wants to win this. Queen g3, king h7. What else? How do we defend this?
Hmm.
And yes, we have a result here 0-1. Wait, what? 1-0, sorry.
So
So
maybe he
Matthew
did
will count
like.
this. Yeah, he just got flagged when he had actually got a chance to play. So happens.
And I want to bring up quick. We have an interesting development in Dane versus Noah. So Dane, it
Okay.
looks like won a pawn back.
Yeah. And now I think it's a very good chance to make draw or close to draw because you have got 2 bishops. But how do you win a pawn? Just like that, yeah. No, okay. So he cannot move the head because the a6 hangs, and he just played bishop e3 and captured it.
One trick I was looking. Oh wait, no, that doesn't
For
work.
a5,
Yeah.
there was this. Just like that. Coach is a coach. And now Connor is thinking down to 20 minutes. But I must say, it is play quality has gone up in time pressure.
Yeah, he's a solid player under time pressure. You know, I've played against him a lot. So Dane has 2 minutes. Noah has 4.
Yeah.
So it's really just these top 3 boards. We looked at. Oh, actually, we didn't see the finish of Jacob and William, but that game is over.
Yeah, let's have a look at that. So we saw until this point or something, yeah. And after this c5, 95, and we had this slightly inferior endgame for black, and he played bishop e4 at this point, and we said it's a draw. But no, Murphy got better of him with the experience. He literally won 5 versus 5 Ukraine game. That's an achievement.
So would you consider this a greater achievement than winning in 16 moves?
No, I mean, I'll still go with Robert. And he won this 2 versus 1 by getting the king. As I said, this could get dangerous. And he lost the pawn. And now it just lost. It's a technical win. You get a check and you push. That's all. So I think well done, William. Good comeback.
Yeah.
Let's stick to this game. Give me 2 minutes, please. I'll be back.
Yeah, no worries.
Do you want me to keep the Dane game or the ED game?
Probably this game, just considering Eddie's so low on time. We'll wait for Connor to make a move.
Perfect.
And I'm really curious what's going to happen here. These major piece endings are so wild. I mean, both kings are really exposed. Obviously, Connor's a bit more exposed than Eddie's, but I mean, the point Nubairshah was making just a moment ago is in this position, if Connor plays Queen G3, trying to defend his H2 pawn, then Eddie will play Rook takes C6, Rook takes C6, Queen takes C6, and then not only did Eddie win a pawn, but he's also defending his G6 pawn, which is now being attacked by the Queen on G3. So Eddie, I mean, Connor has to be awfully careful here how he's going to defend this H2 pawn. In fact, it might just be lost. I mean, he can throw in Queen C4 check, but the king probably goes to H7. I mean, this position's still so wild that I wonder if you can somehow, as white, I mean, it's just what I think of, but like, can you play like Queen C4, Queen C5, pardon me, and then like completely give up the pawn, but just try to infiltrate with the queen? Because Black's queen is a little bit offsides. I know that might sound crazy, but I don't know. This is definitely a position where it makes sense that Connor is spending his time because, I mean, that's the one advantage he has over Eddie. Eddie has 33 seconds. So if I'm Connor here, I mean, he spent a while on this move though, so maybe he should play eventually. I want to check to see how long he's taken. Okay, he did finally make a move. It's King G3, which makes sense. He's just trying to hang on to that H2 pawn. No, okay, he has 12 seconds. He was probably looking at this move. What does he have prepared? Queen G1 makes sense. Now Rook G2. Is Rook G2 a move? Okay, yep. Now Connors has to move the queen. There's no more checks. The queen guards all of the checks. So he's probably going to play queen b6 and try to threaten c6 again. I mean, he could play h5, excuse me, h4, a deflection tactic, but then we have king h3. And yeah, that only helps. That only helps Connor because then the king is cleared of the rook, and then he's not only threatening the queen on g1, he's also threatening pawn on g6. Okay, but the moves are coming in fast here. We're getting f4 from Eddie. King h3. I mean, that has to be the first move you look at. King f3 looks insane. Well, king f3, wait, no, king f3 loses because king f3, queen f1, rook f2, queen h3, and you skewer the king and the queen. So king h3 is forced. So I'm guessing Connor will play that pretty quickly. So king h3, and where does Connor go from there? I mean, I kind of don't like this from Connor because doesn't. I mean, this is kind of the point of saying whether you play f4 or h4. Now Connor's king can move away from the g file, and now his rook will not only be threatening black's queen, but it'll also be threatening black's pawn on g6, which is a check. So after king h3, I think Connor is definitely holding this, unless I'm missing something. Oh, maybe, okay, wait, maybe he wants queen f1, and that's pinning the rook. Okay, I missed queen f1. But if queen f1, queen b3, we have to start checking. Yeah, this is nuts. Because queen f1, we're not only pinning the rook. Wait, but isn't this lost? Wait, what? This is lost. What am I missing? Queen f1. The only way to hang on to the rook is to play rook f2, queen h3. Wait, what? Okay, instead he plays queen d1. Wait. Queen f1. What am I missing? Yeah, that was just GG. They both missed queen f1. Wow. Okay, so Eddie could have won the game there with queen f1. So Connor could have played king h3, prolonged the game, at least for who knows how long. But instead he blundered king f3, but then Eddie didn't see it, and instead goes queen d1. And now he has to dodge the check. Yeah, you've really missed a lot of crazy stuff, Nubair.
Okay, so
Just look
sorry.
a couple moves ago. Eddie could have won the game on the spot.
So it was here we left after queen h1. He went king g3. Yes, tell me.
So it's queen g1, and then king rook g2, and then f4 was played.
Okay.
But then I was talking to Chad. I'm like, if king f3, that loses the game because of queen f1, and there's a skewer.
Yeah.
And that's what he played. But then Eddie missed it.
And for king h3,
Yeah, king
just
h3 I think holds. Or maybe it doesn't hold, but queen b3 and black's king is a little. Maybe it's still.
maybe it's fine. Still, we have some checks. King goes here, and he cannot really go here because we again have check, and the rook is vulnerable. But the point is, as you said, he didn't play queen f1, queen h3. So he did miss a one, king e4, queen h1, and now again possible to play queen f3. And it would be fun to see this blunder again.
Yeah.
Or so what else? Queen c2 or queen f3? Or queen c4. I think you don't want to play queen c2 or something because that will lie into queen or queen to c6. So I think still it is winning this, right?
I think he has good chances for sure. Yeah.
Because even after this, like you have to capture this, and then there's a queen g2, queen into c6.
Oh, but now they're just going back to the same line.
Yeah, because there's just no option, right? Like where do
Yeah.
you go? It's a pin.
Well,
You
you have to at least try. I mean, well, maybe you don't. You can hope they don't see it. But queen f3, yeah.
because you go anywhere, there's rook c6, like at least. Maybe queen b2 tries with some perpetual ideas, but again, still I can see you can go to h6, and after you capture, there's a queen g2. So there's nothing he could do, and he plays queen f1 check.
He sees it.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna happen. Like I mean, it has got some class.
Oh,
He
oh,
might
for
miss it.
sure, for sure.
So, and it's going to be an unfortunate end for the corner here. It will be very, very painful for him to lose like this after 30 versus 1 from this position, especially this one, where they could have simply exchanged queens and got the job done with rook d6 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he got a lot of play, queen h1, and then it was difficult, of course. I mean, with this exposed king, we should be happy of getting draw, but here it's just over. Now he's thinking it's too late. So let's jump to Dane versus Noah. And what? Wait a second. I know the bishops are stronger, but this much? That you lose a piece? Just like that? He plays knight f5 and last trick, if he blunders, okay. But I mean, how? Dane is going to blunder this. He has played against Nakamura. He has got some skills. This is just over. Pawn hangs. He can try pushing, but then the bishop will come and cover the e1 square. So Dane is going to want this. It is going to want this. And we have Jordan who has won this. So we have Jordan with 2 score, 2 out of 2. We have AD with 2 out of 2, I guess. And we will have Zayn with 2 out of 2. Dane with 2 out of, no, he has drawn the first game, sorry. So he'll be 1.5 out of 2. So tomorrow next week we will witness AD versus Jordan, right?
Yep. We should see Eddie versus Jordan, and then Noah. Well, no, it looks like Noah might lose now. So Dane will be at 1.5.
Yeah.
He's already played Matthew. Matthew's at 1.5 as well. See, I don't know
So
how the rest of the pairings will work, but
okay, yeah. So we'll stick to this game because already he has resigned after queen h3 check. So Noah with 40 seconds and Dane with 1 minute on the clock, with no hopes of comeback. He can try h4. Everything else, I mean, it's just losing only, but and it's tough to keep making moves after blundering a piece like that.
yeah, yeah.
Is he going to allow to just run the timeout? No, he played e4. So we'll expect him to play e3 as well. No? Okay, so the king is just going to come like this. Yeah, and he can even play bishop c8 if needed to prevent king g4. It's not needed, but just in case, he can just play bishop c7 h4. This is bad. Fixing pawn is not good at all. So we just go like this and grab the pawn. And when you play bishop g4, you can go back to f1, kick the bishop, and then again do the same thing.
Yeah, topsy-turvy game. No, Noah played well there for a while. It was just in the end game where, I mean, I don't really blame him for losing the pawn. It looked tricky. I tried to briefly calculate how to save the b6 pawn, and it looked like I didn't really see a great way for you to save it. But obviously, the piece was really the where the game turned.
Yeah, I think also a big lesson is going to come for Noah from the coach that not one should not lose such kind of end games. I mean, just 2 pawns up, and I mean, this should not also end in draw, but losing from here is too much. Like with 14 minutes for black, or also it was up on time. So losing from here is, I think, a big life lesson. So h4, king f4, anything, everything wins.
Yeah, and the quote is kind of true. You win and you learn. I mean, like you were saying earlier, even when you lose, you learn valuable information and you can use it to win in the future. So it's
Yeah.
both outcomes, believe it or not, can actually be kind of positive.
Yeah. Now bishop f1 h3, or probably just a waiting move also does the job, because I mean, black is in Switzerland. Okay, he has got bishop h3, so probably he will have to find this idea, which he will, of course.
Hmm.
Okay, he's going after this. Makes sense. He wants to play like this and win the h5 pawn. If the bishop leaves out, so he has to play king to h6, and probably then he wants to just do something like this and go forward.
Yeah, that makes sense too. And by the way, I know the game we briefly looked at, the Maxwell Smeagol versus Nanika, that game did finish in a draw.
This one, right?
Yep.
Okay. That was an Italian game. And we saw until this point everything was good, but then black just gets a pawn. And we saw multiple mistakes and blunders, positional ones, not the tactical ones. And now, for example, one can just play b3 here. c5 was coming there, not played. And now 2 pawns down, and this is where we left this. But for Maxwell, this is where the game started. After losing 2 pawns, giving 2 bishops, you fought till the end to get a half point. So this was bad, as I said again. And then the structure is a bit sad now. He was still getting e4, but he still cannot win this. And that was a bit surprising. And he blundered the pawn. He would have gone here, but then now this. So again, h6 harmed it, everything.
Yeah.
Now it's a very good chance of making a draw because the pawns are double. If we give this position to Den, he might win this as well. I think they just agreed to a draw. No one capturing the pawns. Now this was the threat, so king e6 only move. He can try pushing this while attacking the other weaknesses. Why did he allow king d5? Okay, as long as he's not allowing this, he's fine. And they settle for a draw after playing 74 moves. More or less, both players are happy to make draws, it seems.
Yeah, that's Maxwell really had a good comeback there, but interesting game.
Yeah. So lesson for Maxwell is, he will get some confidence from this game because he was totally lost out of here, and then he's a total like very very bad over the worst position. Out of nowhere. And I think the lesson for Nanika Tutika is that we should not relax or just wait for to win to come. You have to make some plan and do something. Like you cannot just give bishop just like that here, for instance, and then also allow this. Just play e4 or do something. He played at 6 or something here, and even g6 was fine. And here also, now this was coming. Maybe h6 is still fine. And this is how the blunder happened here. Now the attack came, and now he got tripped and lost the pawn. So black needs to take care of these things in future. And we witnessed the h5 pawn falling, and then like this. So it was this, and then simply the pawn started to fall. Now the f5 will fall next, and we have a resignation from Noah. And Jane Jagger has won this from 2 pawns down to winning 2 pawns extra.
Yeah, and Chris makes a good point in chat that Dane's close to master, and this obviously will help him out. And I think he's around 2190. I don't know exactly, but he's roughly 2190 last I know. But so good for him, and he will get another interesting pairing next month. But there was just one other game that was we could probably check in before we end the stream. It was board number 12, so it was input by Nathan, but it was Brendan Foote versus Daryl Bimberg.
Okay, sounds good. It was e3 poison line, and some Grunfeld setup from black side. Usually they play e4 and try to open the bishop, but this damages the structure more. What? Who gives the Grunfeld bishop?
Yeah.
It's Foote Brandon. Never do this, buddy. You can just play like take, queen c7, knight c6, or rook d8 or e5, whatever you like. You never give this bishop. Like it's your if king on g8 is life, then g8 c7 bishop is the water. You cannot give like this. It's very important. Bishop f6, everything, knight e4, knight g5. This guy also giving bishop. And they played this upper bishop, and it's black who won this. That is even interesting. He crapped a pawn like nothing has happened. White blunders a pawn like it's mad as nothing. They play endgame after that with 2 pawns down and then he gives a third pawn. Okay, so now the pawns on 2 pass pawns on both sides. Why? He's going down. He could just come up.
Yeah. Oh, that's very insightful.
This is final blunder comes in, and it's a game over.
Yeah.
I think lots of things, and I would say rather what is more important is for Brandon next time is not to give your bishop, buddy. You should not give the bishop like this. Everything else was perfect from your side, and of course after h6 you could have gone up with king, but don't do this again in your life. And for white, I think you would have directly gone bishop h6 or q1, whatever, h4, h5. You can sacrifice this pawn, try to attack the king, and try to exploit the dark square's weaknesses. Or even rook e6 moves are also fine at times, but not bishop c6, my friend. Not at all. You can come back, you can lose a pawn, but you cannot give your bishop. If you give the bishop, then it's not good. So I
Yeah,
think that's all.
and maybe part of it. Sorry to interrupt. I think I'm not sure, but maybe taking the knight on d5 on move 18. It just kind
Uh-huh.
of gave black just. I know it's opposite colored bishop, but it kind of gave black a lot of control over squares there. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, you need to be careful about a2. So if you play something like maybe you can go queen e2. I don't know. I just want to
No,
somehow
I
defend
just try to
a2.
maintain the knight to have the attacking possibilities
Yeah,
because I want to play this at some point.
yeah. There's some sort of attack.
Yeah.
Well, those were the games. I think we had a lot of interesting ones tonight. I
Yeah.
believe, like you mentioned, we only have two players going into round three who will be on a perfect score. So we'll have a forced matchup of Jordan and Eddie, which is a classic. Those guys play a lot. And then Dane won on board three, Matthew won on board four, and then on the four other GGT boards, it was William Murphy,
Rob.
Robert, John, and Jeremy.
Yep.
And you said Robert was your game of the day. If I had
Yeah.
to pick a game, I would, maybe I would pick Eddie. Just because I feel like he never was really worse. Connor played a slightly passive opening, which is fine, but I mean, he just kind of never had anything going as white. And I think Eddie played a pretty clean game, and then just the end game was um, a bit better for him because White's king was so weak. He found the tactics, and maybe he didn't have the best time management, but Eddie normally gets in time trouble, and he was able to find the queen f1 tactic on the second try.
Yep. Also, I think Dan played a fantastic comeback. He was having a good position. He could not get things right there. He could not find the right idea or simply queen c2-1. He lost the pawn. He got his bishop kicked down. He also lost the d4 pawn. And then he made a comeback. So I think that was also a great game. But still, I'll stand with Robert for move of the day for g5. And yeah, I mean, nothing beats this. It's just perfect.
Yeah. Okay, folks, before we wrap up, we just have the usual couple announcements to make. As always, check out our Discord. We have some members there. So if you want to post something related to the club, post something about chess, make sure to join that Discord club. The link is in the description. The stream is sponsored by Chess Goals. They're simple chess courses for non-grandmasters, and you can save 30% on the courses if you sign up with the coupon code CASTLE. And then our other sponsorship is Webeccentric. You can use the discount code CASTLE for 15%. Webeccentric is empowering small businesses and startups through tailored digital solutions. Webeccentric specializes in custom web developments, cloud solutions, and digital strategy for small businesses. It has over 25 years experience, so a lot of good stuff there. Webeccentric brings enterprise level expertise to businesses of all sizes. You can reach them at webeccentric.com, shop with them at shop.webeccentric, where you can buy hats and hoodies, and I think there's like a kind of a yoga mat or something, and mugs, and a lot of different stuff there. I know there's a Team Scandy shirt, which I'll have to wear again, but it is short sleeve, and I'm in Minnesota, so like everyone else. So Nubair, it's cold here in Minnesota, so I can't wear my short sleeve shirt from the merch store.
Right. Yeah.
But we'll see everyone for round three next week.
Yeah. Thank you.